smack you when I did
Yeah,
that?
you did actually.
It's just like I felt something graze my hand.
What's going on, guys? My name is Alex Szafranski, and today is our very first movie review, and I am joined by
His girlfriend.
Kasha. And today we'll be reviewing A Quiet Place Part 2. So, just so you guys know, there are going to be a bunch of spoilers in this review, so if you guys have not yet seen the movie, you might want to get out, because there are going to be some spoilers. So, I was a big fan of A Quiet Place, the first one, that came out a couple years ago. I thought it was a good movie. I didn't think it was anything, like, spectacular or anything. It was definitely very grounded, but I did enjoy it. So
I thought it was something that's been done before, but I enjoyed it in the fact that I thought the way it was done was very different. I know I've spoken to you about this.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is very, very similar to M. Night Shyamalan's Signs.
Sure.
And Signs is one of my favorite movies, and so seeing this, it like gave me sort of that same feeling, but I was also way more attached to Signs than A Quiet Place, but I thought the second one was way, way better.
Oh, I love the second one.
I thought the second one was the best thing that they could do in terms of a sequel.
They definitely showed, like, more of the world in the second one.
Yes.
Like, a lot more of the world.
I really enjoyed that, and seeing, because in the last movie, we just got to see a little bit of the area around the farm and everything, where now you get to see more of the world after the whole apocalypse happened, and I thought that was really interesting, seeing the town, seeing the roads, seeing just all at one point you're at a shipyard and you see on a dock, and just seeing all of that, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I have to say this, we were in the theater and we were watching it, and you and I both said at the same time, like, wow, this is really pretty. Like, this is a really pretty movie, I will say. I am blown away by the cinematography in this movie. It's really, really neat. And I have to say, the character Reagan,
I love Reagan. Reagan's my favorite character.
she definitely stole the show.
Absolutely.
In this one.
Absolutely. On the topic of Reagan, I really enjoyed her character, but I also really like the casting. I think she was casted perfectly, because Millicent Simmons, who plays Reagan, is deaf in real life, and I just think that really attributed to the dynamic between her and the other characters, because on set of the first one, she taught the cast and crew some sign language, and I thought that really brought together the relationship between her and the other characters on screen. And also, there's a part in the second one where she loses her hearing aid, and you can see the panic in her.
Yes.
I just thought that came off so real. Just this panic of her, like, oh shit, I don't have my fucking hearing aid. Like, she wakes up and is like, I can't hear anything. I feel like that was just so real and so great to watch. And I just think more movies in general need to be casting people like this, need to be casting actors and actresses with disabilities more. Because if you're writing a character that has a disability, like being deaf or blind, or if you have a transgendered character, I think having an actor or actress who is disabled or is transgender or gay or has autism or anything, I think having someone who can relate to the character makes it seem more real, and I think it adds for more representation.
One thing that I love in this movie that I think they did a little bit in the first one, where they went on and off with hearing sounds and then, like, not hearing anything, and, like, from Reagan's perspective. And I thought they did that a lot more in this one, but I think it was done really, really well, just because Emily Blunt is of course in this movie. However, I feel as if Reagan is definitely becoming more of the primary character.
Absolutely.
Because she's really, like, following her father's footsteps, and it, like, really truly believes in, like, what he was doing in the first one, and obviously just wants to continue with that. And we definitely see that in this one. With the radio and everything, she believes that there's people out there and it's not just, nothing. So,
going off of what you said about how the with her hearing, it comes in and out with the audio, and how there's a ton of noise and then you hear nothing. There's another movie that did this called Hush, which I showed you recently that did it.
Yes.
I think A Quiet Place did it better, because the difference is that in Hush, it was just more so in and out, it was kind of gradual. Where in A Quiet Place, they had this really low, bassy, baritone noise that shifted in and out with when you're coming in and out of her perspective. And I just really enjoy that it seems, like I said earlier, seems more real coming from her perspective when you don't hear anything.
Yeah.
And I just think it adds more suspense, and it overall has a more in-depth feeling to the film, and it really, I think it brings you in more.
I think it definitely gives more of a sense of a threat. Like, you're on edge more. There's a part where she's on a train and everything, and this is probably one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie, where she gets scared and she falls back, and in the background you can see, I'm just going to call it a Demogorgon, because that's pretty much what it is, but you can see it, like, crawling.
No, they're a Demogorgon. They're a Demogorgon.
Let's be real here. But you can see it crawling in the background, and you can't hear anything, and she's just, like, staring off into the dead corpse that she saw. And you can see it, like, getting closer and closer, but you can't hear anything. And it just draws so much more suspense and, like, just more feeling of, like, a threat. And I thought they did a phenomenal job with, like, her, like, not hearing anything.
Something I really enjoyed about the movie is that I always found myself looking in the background for the fucking Demogorgon.
Yeah.
The way that they shot it was a lot of the characters were kind of off-centered.
Yeah.
And so I kept looking in the background to see if that Demogorgon was going to crawl up and everything. Like, I feel like the way it was shot in terms of using the background a lot more and using that, like, space further back was really, really well done.
I want to talk about Emily Blunt's character, because I know she's one of the main characters, but you kind of feel in this movie as if she's not really, like, as around, I guess. Like, I found myself, like, forgetting her character a lot, whereas, like, I'm following more of, like, Reagan and Emmett, which we could talk about Emmett in a second, but I felt like, I don't know, I felt like Emily Blunt's character, she was there, she had some pretty intense scenes, but she wasn't, like, she was kind of forgetful a little bit in this movie.
To be fair, you can't really top her stepping on a nail and giving birth.
That's true.
From the first one.
That is true.
Something that I'm going off with, I kind of forgot she was there for a little bit. There's some instances where jumping between characters like that, you don't forget them. Like, I feel like Stranger Things does that really well. But I did find myself forgetting about her, but there was a point in the movie where, like, I want to say, like, every 30 seconds, there was a really suspenseful scene where they jumped between each of the main characters, between Marcus, Evelyn, and Reagan, and jumping between them and what they're experiencing, like, simultaneously. I thought that was really well done, and that made me, like, remember, like, oh, I care about this character right now. But there was a good 20 minutes where I just completely forgot about Evelyn, and I was like, oh, yeah! She's there! Where'd she go? I also like that it focused on Marcus a lot more.
Yes.
I like Marcus. I feel like being able to connect with his character more and seeing him on the screen a lot more was very entertaining. And I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, you can definitely tell in this movie he's a lot more panicky. Well, which makes sense because of everything that happened, like, hours before. Because the movie takes place hours or right after the first one. So obviously he's a lot more shaken up. But this kid takes a beating, let me just say, with a bear trap.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's a part with a bear trap, and oh my god, that was a really intense scene.
I also want to bring up the newer character. So we see in kind of the flashback, he's kind of a side character, really, doesn't have many lines in the flashback. The character Emmett, but then later on they meet up with him, and I really enjoyed his character. For him being new to the film series, I thought he had so much growth already, and I just really got connected with him, and he was probably one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, no, I honestly, when they first introduced him, I wasn't too sure about him, honestly.
Neither was I. I was like, who's this scraggly haired, scrappy motherfucker walking in here.
I thought they were just gonna like replace Lee or something, and I was like,
that's what I thought they were gonna do.
Like, okay.
I was like, oh, is Evelyn gonna have a rebound that quick? You just watched your husband die, and then instead, I found instead of him being a replacement as a husband, he seemed to take the place of a dad for Reagan.
Yeah.
And not in the sense like, oh, she has a new dad, or she has a new grown-up person that she can look up to.
Mm.
And I feel like in the beginning, he wasn't as much of a figure that she could look up to, but then over time, you can see her stand up to him and then really care about him at the end. And I loved seeing that for Reagan. I don't know, I'm a simp for Reagan. She's my favorite character.
Yeah, so basically Reagan's story is that they meet up with Emmett after traveling away from their home, and basically she pretty much runs away from home trying to follow in her father's footsteps and everything. And Emmett and Reagan, because Emily Blunt's character, Evelyn, asks Emmett to go find her and bring her back home, but Reagan was able to convince him to go off with her. And their duo is a really cool duo. I like it a lot. It's not so much like, yeah, it's a father figure, I will agree with you, but they're also kind of like bros at the same time, in a way. They kind of have like it's a friendship, but it's also like a fatherly type.
Something that it reminded me of, I don't know how many people watching this that play the Walking Dead games, but it reminded me of the first Walking Dead, the relationship between Clementine and Lee, where they're in this incredibly insane situation, and then they find each other, and then they have a teamwork going on, and they create this really bonding relationship between them, and they fight to save the day.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe that I got, and I really enjoyed seeing that, and I really enjoyed their relationship together.
Honestly, I was sitting in the movie theater, and there's a part where they're overlooking on a bridge, and you can see an island, because that's where they're heading, and honestly, I got so many Last of Us vibes from this movie.
Really?
Yeah. I got a lot of Last of Us vibes from this movie, which I'm not complaining.
I can say.
I'm not complaining. Like, Emmett's Joel, you know what I mean?
Makes sense.
That's what I got from that.
Something I really enjoyed with the second one is you could tell that they really rendered the alien Demogorgon creatures better. You can see how much more detail they put into them. You get a lot of close-ups of them, and you can see the ligaments like attaching to all of their moving headpieces.
It was really
and you can see all the muscles, you can see all their teeth better, and I just thought that the way that the creature looked was a lot better. And you can even see the more texture on the skin, and as it moves around, it's just, I really enjoyed how the creature looked this time around. That being said, you know what I'm about to say.
Yes.
I want to see sci-fi in all forms of media create different looking creatures. And by that, I mean going off to what I said previously about Signs. I feel like the alien from Signs, the Demogorgon from Stranger Things, and then the creature from A Quiet Place all look way too similar. They're just kind of awkward, almost bipedal, almost on 4 feet, like creatures with this closed head, and then it opens up, and I just feel like the way that the head moves is too similar to Stranger Things, and then the way that the creature looks is too similar to Signs, and then the color of the alien from Signs is too similar to the Demogorgon and Stranger Things. Or
there seems to be a common theme between all the designs.
To be fair, Signs came first a while ago, so Signs I'm very partial to, and Stranger Things is obviously much different, but I just feel like with outer worldly creatures, I want to see some big bitches.
Some big bitches?
I want to see some big bitches. I want to see some really robust looking alien creatures, you know? I want to see like we got to see in Stranger Things.
Right.
We got to see a much different creature. I want to see that with I'm interested to see, in A Quiet Place, are the creatures going to start procreating? What are they going to look like? Is there a mother creature?
Well, that's what I was... So, let me just jump onto a little side
A little side thing.
Yes, side note.
A little side note.
In the beginning, we actually get a little bit more information on them. So in the beginning, Lee's family is at a baseball game, and because their son's playing, and all of a sudden they all stop playing, and you can look in the sky, and all of a sudden this massive meteorite comes down, and that's when everything happens. So we know they're aliens.
Actually, we get a little glimpse before that because we see in the small shop that the shopkeeper is watching watching on the news that a bomb hit. I believe it was Thailand.
I don't remember.
It was some country, I believe, more eastern, like an Asian country.
Yeah.
But we see like, a bomb hit, and it was like, oh. So my first thought was, did they come from the ground? And then we see that they came from the sky. And so I'm interested is there a mother creature?
Yeah, is there like a hive mind or something?
Exactly. Is there a queen bee to all of them? Do they procreate? Are we going to see like a Quiet Place's version of a demodog?
Yeah, I'm really interested in that.
Are we going to see a Quiet Place's version of the Mind Flayer? Like, I want to see more with the creatures, but I want to see them look a little bit different. I want some
variation in there.
I want a big bitch. I want a plump alien. I'm tired of these little slender little fucking geese things that move way too fucking fast. I want to see one that's just sitting there just like, yes. Just like a big one. Earlier on in the film, you hear Emmett say, this changed people. And my thought was like, are people like fucking mental? And yes! Yes, they fucking are! When you're on the dock, there is a bunch of fucking feral ass people. I thought they were cannibals.
I think they are still cannibals.
I think they are cannibals. We just didn't get to see them enough to see them actually eat someone.
Yeah, no, they're just kind of on the docks hiding for people
to,
like, snatch, but they didn't really, like, dive too much into those people.
No, we just saw them attack them.
Yeah. Which Emmett did have a really badass scene.
He did.
That was a really cool scene.
He did. I really enjoyed seeing the cannibals get fucking murked. I really enjoyed that. Oh, my favorite thing is you see when the Demogorgon's on a boat.
Yeah.
You see him trying to swim.
There's a wide shot of the island in one part when they're heading towards it, and then like in the little corner you can see a Demogorgon on a boat just like
Going off what you said earlier about when Marcus's ankle gets caught in a bear trap, first of all, the sound effects of that.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
I loved it, but also, ew. On top of that, the way that they made, like, the ankle, like, bend and everything, and, like, the blood come out, and, like, it was so gory, and, like, it's one of the only times we see that gore up front. Like, everything's kind of far back and really fast. But we just see his ankle get absolutely fucked by a bear trap. And I just thought the effects for that were really well done. Along with all the other gore shots, I just think it was really well done.
Yeah, I think this one was a lot more brutal.
Oh,
in some ways.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's I'm going to go back to the scene with the train and everything. There's, like, at least, like, 50 like dead corpses that you can see there just decaying, and it's like really well done, and it's insane. I really just love that scene, and the effects of the Demogorgons and everything is also just top notch.
All the practical effects too were just really well done.
Yes.
All the corpses and everything, I thought they were so good. They looked really intense. You could just see how long that this has been going on with how decomposed the bodies were. So. Yeah, no, I remember sitting in the theater and like when we first saw the corpses, I was like, holy shit. Like, they're everywhere. And I thought it was very well done. All right, final thoughts? I liked it. Didn't love it, but I'm picking about my horror movies.
She's a really big horror fan. I actually love this one a lot. I don't know. Personally, I really like this one a lot more than the first one.
Oh, I liked it better than the first one. Definitely. I did really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think this one was way more expansive in like every way. I think the characters, the plot, the cinematography, the visuals, the
color
VFX,
grading.
Yeah, everything was just so good. So good. I love this movie.
I think the acting was way better.
Yeah.
Way better, especially from the kids.
Yes.
The kids did such a good job.
Yes. So, that's our review, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed.
What's our rating?
What's our rating? We have to do a rating?
Yeah, 7.8.
7.8?
Yeah, I'm leaving room for improvement for the third one.
I'm giving it a solid 8.
You had a 2 up me, didn't you?
Yes. That was my review when I walked out of the theater. I was like,
no, okay.
Yeah, I'd give it an 8. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace, peace.